Alright, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to take you through a couple of items that I recently picked up. The first being this Milwaukee Fuel brushless angle grinder that I got a really good deal on around the holidays, as well as how I got a really cool upgrade to that 8.0 high output battery. And then I'll tell you about my new welder I just picked up, this Flux 125, and I got a pretty great deal on that, as well as some items from Zorro to go with the welder. So let's get into it. Alright, so let me share with you about how I learned about this deal. If you guys are not familiar with Struggleville, it's just a great YouTube channel. He's dedicated to finding tool deals, whether it's the big box stores, Amazon, and so forth. And if it's worth the subscription, if you got good willpower, because you got to be able to not buy everything that he's showing you, which I usually do a pretty good job of. But this deal of this Milwaukee Fuel M18 was just a deal I could not resist. I was not necessarily in the market for a cordless grinder, as I had just bought a 13 amp that I did the video on recently. But at $159, this was just a steal. This tool alone goes for $199, and the battery that came with it, which was the 5-hour amp battery, normally goes from between $159 to $179. So you're talking a $350 plus value for $159, and I just could not resist it. So it took me a few weeks to get it out of the package, and when I did, I put it on the charger and I had an error message. It would not charge correctly. Now there's a light that goes on the charger that blinks, and it was just blinking red and yellow every time I put the battery in to charge it. And what that means is that there's an error. So I did some homework on YouTube as usual, and you can actually jumpstart your battery. As they say, that could be the problem. The battery itself could be worn down to a point where it won't charge. So I set it up and I put another battery on it, and I got it from going from 1 bar to 3 bar. So the battery itself was working, but every time I put it on the charger, it didn't work. So I brought it back to Home Depot, and they said, okay, sure, just go ahead and exchange it out. Well, that in there lied the problem. I could not find the exact battery. And they had very little batteries in stock. I don't know if they're in the process of getting newer supplies or all the shipping issues out there. But I did find this XC 8-hour. So I figured, okay, this is probably going to cost more than the one I had. But I figured, hey, I'm willing to pay the difference. I got a good deal on it. So I brought it up there. I'm talking with the lady. She was very nice, you know, and it just pays to be really nice with people. From the minute I got in there, I explained to them what the situation was, and that I wanted to try to get it resolved. And so they went and they looked at it and they looked it up, and you know, they did a few things in the computer, and whatever they did is they basically said, you know what, just, you know, because of everything, they had trouble looking up the item I bought and this, that, the other thing. They just went ahead and did an even exchange for me, which is unbelievable, which I since found out that this is a $249 battery, and that the charger that it has here is a rapid charger. So I got this baby home and it charged it in under an hour, and it is an absolutely beast of a battery. I also realized that it's called a high output battery, and that's, I think, their newer technology. So for $159, I got a $200 tool and a $250 battery and charger, and that just made my weekend. And as you can see here, this battery supposedly runs 50% cooler and has 50% more power than the traditional XC. So how can I beat that? Now let me show you about this grinder. So take a look at it here. It is the brushless model, which I mentioned. It has an equivalent of 11 amp corded power. That's just amazing that that type of power is coming out of a battery operated grinder. And they're doing everything based on 5 amp hour battery, and as you saw earlier, I got that 8 amp. So they're saying you could do 135 cuts. I'm thinking I could do more than that, and then it's super convenient being that it's cordless and it's fast cutting. Next up, let me show you how this guard rotates. It's got this little tab here. Just gently pull it down and it clicks into different positions, making this just so convenient compared to having to go get a tool to adjust it. What's great about this too is it just balances real nicely when you put it down. If you had a cutting blade on there or a disc, it won't hit the ground the way they designed it. It just, you could place it down nicely and it would not damage the disc. And then what this model has that's so nice compared to some of my other models, especially for when you're using, or specifically for when you're using a cutoff wheel, is it's got this additional guard that goes on here, and it goes like this, and it just slips over the top and locks in, and it gives you this protection here underneath the wheel. Let me position this better for you here so you can see this. So when you're cutting something, if that wheel does break or you get any kickback, it'll protect you. So a lot of positives on this, like I had mentioned, the power, the portability, everything else. A couple of things I think are a little bit of drawbacks for me is it does not have a lock-on switch. The paddle switch has to be held the whole time. I guess that's good for safety. It is heavy. I mean, this battery's a lot. The unit itself is a lot. So, I don't see myself using this when spending, hours cleaning up an old tool to, fine tune it. It's just not for that type of application. And she's loud. That's the only other thing. Listen to her scream. So she is a screamer, and will need a set of headphones or ear protection when using it. This would be a perfect tool to use with a wire wheel or a wire cup to clean up some, nasty grinds, as I learned to use my flux core welder. So let me share with you what I got here. And this is something I wanted for quite a while. Been doing my homework on it. Didn't want to invest a ton of money, but did want to get something that was going to be useful. Something I could keep in the garage. Something comes up, a small little thing I need to fix. I have it handy, not require everything you need with gases and whatnot. And just from all the homework I did and all the research, this titanium flux 125 gets really good reviews, and for the money it's just a great value. So I was in no rush, so I was shopping around, and then Harbor Freight had this deal come up that was like a double coupon, and I just could not resist buying it. It was the time to get it. Like you guys, I follow a lot of other YouTubers, and one of the YouTubers I follow is YDOC Productions, and Cody is a young guy, and he does these great videos where he restores trucks. He picks up trucks and kind of flips them, and he uses a flux core welder. And he was one of the guys that kind of gave me the thought of, hey, I could probably use one of those. So just a shout out to Cody, and check out his link in the description and subscribe to his channel. He's a great guy. He's got great content. So this is one of those items, once again, that Harbor Freight has the good, the bad, and the ugly. No, it's the good, better, and best. So this is one of those items where Harbor Freight has the good, better, best, and the Chicago Electric being the good, this titanium being the better, and I guess the Vulcan is the best. And this thing, though, just gets unbelievable reviews, like I had mentioned, and I got a rock bottom price. So this retails for $209 normally. That's the regular price. Then they had a sale for $179, and it wasn't a coupon, which is rare. Harbor Freight's been playing games a lot with their pricing lately, so I think this was kind of a mistake, because they normally don't make it where you can use 2 coupons for an item, but they did here. This one was $179 at the register. Then they ran a promo where you can get an additional 10% off or 15% off all welders if you are a value member. And being that I pay for the little bit extra membership, I got 15% off, and I paid about $152 for this, which you're not going to get a better deal than that. And then lastly, I got some items in this box here to go along with the welder. And I should have mentioned I also picked up these magnetic welding clamps, as they have them on sale, for $3.99 at Harbor Freight. So let me show you what I got. So when doing my homework, everyone says you gotta get good flux core wire to make this thing work even better. So that's what I did. The Vulcan gets decent reviews from Harbor Freight, but everything that I've been reading is that the Lincoln flux core wire seems to produce the best results. So I got 2 of the 0.30 wires, and I got 1 of the 0.35, as they said. This, first from the homework I've been doing, I would be using more of this, and these are only 1-pound spools. And the reason I bought a couple is I wanted to get over the $50 mark. that's where you got the free shipping from Zorro. They were running a deal. All welding supplies were 20% off, and then free shipping over 50. So I wanted, and that's exactly what it did. I spent around $50. That gave me 3 coils of that, as well as what you need. A lot of people recommend is this anti-splatter, as this apparently makes some mess. It's a dirty weld. It splatters a lot, and if you spray the surface area around, it makes cleanup a lot easier. And then you're gonna get a lot of slag when you use the flux core, and you need to clean that up. So what I got here is a hammer, a welding hammer they call it, a chipping hammer, and it's got the 2 sides on it. And this one is a Vahanen, I believe I'm saying that right, and it's actually made in the USA. If you see back here, it doesn't have it stamped. It had a sticker on it, made in the USA, and that was about 13 bucks. And whenever you could buy hand tools, even if it's $5, $10 more, or who even those $30, $40 more, if it's USA made, it's the way to go. So I'm gonna have another surprise in an upcoming video that I'm super excited about. Because I bought these items from Zorro, they sent me a 20% off any item, and I bought a beauty. And I can't wait till it gets here and set it up and share it with you guys. All right, so let's wrap this video up. What a perfect compliment to the Welder is this cordless Milwaukee angle grinder. I still got to get some more stuff. You know, I got to still get a welding helmet. And, you know, that's a big important thing. I'm doing my homework on that. If you guys got any feedback or suggestions on that, let me know. Still maybe get a little welding table. There's some upgrades to this. I've been reading about getting a really good grounding clamp added to this, and I'll continue to do my studying on YouTube on how to make a decent weld. So I'll have some videos upcoming on that as well. So appreciate everybody watching. Like and subscribe, and stay tuned for the date.